Hey everyone, nintendoboy17 here with a brand new game review. It is for Tomb Raider Anniversary, a remake of the 1996 original, but instead of being developed by Core Design, it is now in the hands of Crystal Dynamics, made with the gameplay style of the previous released Tomb Raider Legend. This is the Nintendo Wii version of the game, but you can also get it on Xbox 360, PS2, PSP, and on the PS3 through the Tomb Raider Trilogy. But keep in mind, I have not played the 1996 original, and likely due to how the controls aren't up to my speed, especially for this kind of genre, I don't think I ever will. The story of the game takes place during, 1996. Lara Croft is in a race against time, traveling the world searching for pieces of an artifact called the Scion. In her way, she deals with an array of creatures such as wild cats, bats, bears, dinosaurs, the undead, as well as enemy thugs led by Jacqueline Natla, who is also trying to get the Scion as well. Though I personally feel that Legend had a better storyline due to learning a bit more about Lara herself, I do think Anniversary's story still works and has its fine moments, like learning about the villain and what she truly is, and how it's one of the few things that give me a taste of what the original game was probably like, and given my sources like the Tomb Raider Wiki and TombRaiders.net, it's pretty damn faithful, despite its changes to properly link to Legend. Now to talk about the gameplay, and let me say, I am thankful that this is a remake of the original game based on the engine that ran Legend, as from what I understand of the original, it had pretty complicated controls with how it controlled like a tank in that you can only turn with the left and right directions, and the only way to move is, pressing upward. While I understand it for something like Onimusha due to how tight the first two games were built, with mostly tight corridors and how the fixed camera works, but I don't see it as something that works for an action-adventure game that has quite a bit of platforming. With Anniversary and Legend before it, you have full 360 analog control, which without a doubt works much better. On to the subjects of platforming and puzzles. The former mainly consists of using Lara's acrobatics. She'll swing or wall run with a grapple hook if a certain spot is too far, and she'll need to grapple on ledges to get around. While the latter has her doing things like strategically turning certain locks around to match the symbols, setting the gears in the right places to make an ancient contraption work, working a machine based on limited fuses, among a few other things. Sometimes you'll have a combination of both, like setting a pillar into the right position before jumping across and activating certain switches while finding a correct way to them. All of which feel right at home and can be tricky like an adventure should, so no further comment here. In terms of replay value, if you beat the game, you can go back and try to get whatever secret collectibles you missed. They are artifacts, relics, and rubbing awards, all of which reward you unlockables such as different outfits and cheats without any codes. Each level also contains a time attack mode where you can obviously speedrun through levels you already beat. The time attack modes alone, giving you quite the challenge to rebeat the missions, make it worth replaying, even through all the trial and error. Back onto the controls. The Wii version of the game solely uses motion controls, and let me say, I really like using the cursor, especially when aiming Lara's firearms while locking onto enemies, as that actually feels quite good. But what I'm not a fan of is how you swiftly shimmy on ledges by moving the nunchuck from side to side. Motion-based quick-time events that sometimes rely on waggling to work, and there's even a quick moment where you have to shake the nunchuck to dodge, or you can just hit the down button and the ladder's better there. And also yanking a switch, with the last thing in particular feeling very pointless compared to interacting with the quick-time events, as flawed as the execution is. Who thought pulling a simple activation switch with motion controls was a good idea when there are so many better ideas that can be done with them? And the motion controls, which are operated by the C button, and if you hold said button down while moving the Wii Remote's cursor, while not too bad, can get into some awkward spots at times, but it's easily manageable. Visually, the Wii version of Tomb Raider looks quite good for the console, as the environmental detail in each location works very well. Lava glows bright in hellish volcanic caves, the Egyptian hieroglyphics on the walls look really ancient, and the character models look quite good. Granted, some textures could use a little more fixing, like when you're looking at waterfalls, and even underwater, when the weight of the surface looks kind of pixelated compared to when you're over the water where it looks very clear. Other than that, the game looks fine. If you're a completely, maybe fairly new Tomb Raider fan like me and want to try out one of the older games without the control complications, this remake is the way to go. If you heavily dislike motion controls, fret not, you can check the game out on other systems if you prefer either a standard controller or keyboard and mouse. If you either only own a Wii or want to try out the Wii version, there are a couple things that may bug you, but aren't enough to ignore this version at all, nor make it a bad version. Either way, it's worth a look.